Right, so then Ping have got some new drivers, fairways, hybrids and irons coming to the market very, very shortly. The Ping G425 range will be out, depending where you are in the world, it might already be out. If you're Northern Hemisphere, it might be coming out very soon. But for today's video, I'm going to look at the 3 driver models, see what they're like, which one might suit you best, and should you be in the market for a new driver. So we've got Max, we've got SFT, and we've got LST. Right then guys, so 3 different models. 2 of them are the same size. 2 of them have got adjustable weights in the back. One's not adjustable at all, but potentially aimed at slightly different players. So the Max is aimed at a maximum forgiveness, so very forgiving ball speed across the face, shouldn't really twist much on off-center strikes. LST, theory being slightly smaller head that should appeal to some players, should produce lower spin. Therefore, for maybe those quicker swing speed golfers, this potentially is your model. And the final model is the SFT with the weight fixed in the heel. The idea being that this should stop or help the golfer that hits the ball out to the right hit the ball straighter. But the tough thing with reviews nowadays is all the manufacturers make really good drivers. So I don't think, maybe nowadays, the driver reviews aren't so much about how good the drivers are, because I think if they're set up well for you, you should get very similar numbers out of them. So for me, with my reviews now, it's more about what the manufacturers are claiming for the driver. Does it actually produce what they're saying? And if Ping have got 3 different models on the market, potentially we should see 3 different outcomes with the 3 drivers, with me swinging the same. So less talking, more hitting shots, and let's find out, should Ping G425 be a driver that you should be trying in 2021? Right, so I'm going to start with the G425 Max, and I've actually just moved the weight slightly towards the toe, and we can see there the idea of that is just to move that CG a little bit more towards the toe. But if you actually look at the club, it says it's going to make it fade more, but the suggestion is that maybe just help me keep it a little straighter. And that's pretty much how I always have kind of the Ping drivers when I get them set like that. So it'll be interesting. LST, I'll be able to move that weight, but SFT, the weight's stuck in the heel on purpose. So it'll be interesting to see how that really affects my shape of shot. So the key is, all drivers nowadays are really good drivers. The key is to get them set up correctly for you and actually then find out which one performs the best for you. So the idea of today's video isn't actually to tell you how good these are going to be, because they are going to be good drivers. Do they actually do what Ping are claiming? Now, it's very hard when Ping are talking about 7% more forgiving or 9% more forgiving. That's very hard for me to show that in hitting shots. But we're looking for the Max to deliver pretty consistent ball speeds if the strike is across the face. Ping will always claim their drivers are very accurate. I still think the bigger part of that's me, but I know what they mean with getting that weight back and low from the face. So we're going to start with Max and just see, is Max nice and forgiving? Okay, so first one, bombs away. Right, so they felt solid. Couple of very lefty ones at the end, which shows doesn't matter how forgiving apparently a driver is, if you get the club face in the wrong position, it's game over. Right, so I thought LST felt quite different. Definitely didn't sound as loud as Max. Now, whether that's just me being in the studio, maybe outside they might sound different, but so maybe felt more solid with LST, but felt quicker off the face with the Max. And definitely with this one, the couple little mishits, I think I saw more of a drop off of speed. So for me, maybe Max doing what it says. Interestingly, a couple of slightly low strikes with this, which I think will still make the spin jump up. Right then, so the difference between the Max and the LST, for me, comes more down to strike. I think the Max definitely seems a little bit more forgiving at the moment. I think some golfers will prefer LST, even if it didn't spin less, because of that slightly smaller head. And that's just what people prefer. Definitely for me, I think in the past, I would have gone smaller head. Probably go bigger now and more forgiving, as long as then it doesn't sacrifice anything on ball speed and spin for me. Now, the interesting one for me, SFT, so straight flight technology. Some manufacturers call it draw, but we can obviously see here the weight fixed down in the heel. So no adjustability, and I would normally be moving the weight more over to the toe. Like I said, some manufacturers call it draw, Ping call it straight flight technology. Now, I think because the majority of the golfers slice the ball, this is where the manufacturers see a market. I mean, what if you're a golfer who hooks the ball though? This then isn't straight flight technology. This should, in theory, make it worse. So we've definitely seen with me, little draw is tendency with the Max. Both of those were at 9 degrees. Now, SFT, there's only a 10.5 degree head. So I've moved it down to 9, so the loft's absolutely the same. But as I've said, the idea of this video is see, does the driver produce what Ping are saying? So we should see a little bit more of a draw on this than I've seen with the previous couple of models. But again, off we go and let's see how it performs. Even there, little low heely one still turning over. And it was interesting there because even though the strike's a little bit around the face again, everything definitely missing left. I mean, I'm aiming straight, but nothing missing right. So definitely for me, that weight down in the heel doing its job. Right, so for me, there was no difference in accuracy between the Max and the LST. That's just simply down to how I deliver the golf club. But we definitely saw SFT missing more left. But if we look at the performance of the clubs, the club head speeds were similar. For whatever reason, a fraction slower with SFT, but had the most ball speed with Max, which is kind of what we'd expect. Then if we look at the smash factor, that would show that the Max is the most forgiving. Almost nothing in it in carry and total between the Max and the LST. But we can see SFT, for a guy who hits it out to the right, probably going to be a lot more accurate, but maybe not quite the longest driver out of the three. Right then, interestingly for me guys, SFT, no big surprise that everything went left for me. Now, it's kind of a weird one because the nice thing is I know I can't miss right with that driver. So in some respects, I kind of like the way I've only got a one-way miss with that driver, but definitely saw the performance drop off a little bit. So potentially not for me, but if you are a golfer who misses everything as a right-handed golfer out to the right, that is definitely a model that you should be potentially looking at if you're switching driver. Now, moving on to the two models that I think are more interesting to me. Straight away, LST, the idea of low spin still appeals to me. But it's kind of a weird one because we saw the numbers there. I actually didn't get my lowest spin with that. So I absolutely agree that robot testing, the way the manufacturers test their product, if you deliver the club exactly the same, hit it out the same part of the club face, undoubtedly that is the lowest spinning option. But it really made me think with that, do I need LST, or am I kind of still hooked into the marketing that's taken place over the years about launching high, spinning low, and the fact that that's called low spin, do I want to play that when I actually don't need to play that? So I thought that was good, and I was probably more accurate with that, but again, that's my delivery. But for me, LST, probably not. Which brings me to the Max. Now, I really like that. I love the look, I love the feel. I think historically I've liked the idea of the smaller head. Don't tell me why, actually tell me why, comment below. But I'm not sure, I think the Max head for me, really consistent ball speeds off the face, which is what I'm looking for. Inaccuracy from poor swing, there is no driver that fixes that. So for me personally, did Max do what it said? Yes, it gave me consistent ball speed. I think on anywhere I delivered the club decently, the strike was fairly accurate. Low spin, it didn't do lower spin, but that was me. That was my strike that affected me. Straight flight, did it give me straight flight? No, it gave me left, 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 which is fine. I understand that. It's not aimed at me, it's for the guy who hits it out to the right. And I love the idea with Max. I'm definitely toying with the idea of going longer shaft to try and get more speed. Will the more forgiving head then become even more appealing? Absolutely. And I think if you are in the market for a new driver, be very open-minded. Try not, a little bit like I do sometimes, to get, excited by the kind of the marketing behind certain brands or certain manufacturers. Go along, be open-minded, hit whatever the fitter suggests, but also hit what you'd like to hit. Because maybe some fitters have got an agenda as to certain models or certain manufacturers. Do a bit of research, watch the videos. Watch the videos and get other people's opinions on the models, but go along, hit them side by side, see what works best for you. And I'll probably say this a lot at the end of my review videos going forward. If you've been fitted for driver in the last probably 2 years, I'll be surprised if you're changing based on performance. But if you've got a driver that's not optimized for you or is a bit older and not quite as forgiving, I definitely think if you've got the money, buy something new. You shouldn't then need to change for 2, 3, 4 years. So you'll get great value. Are the Ping G425s good drivers? Absolutely. I said that at the start before I even hit a shot. I knew these were going to be good because everybody's drivers are good now. Does one model suit me more than the others? Absolutely. Probably a toss-up between the two. But for you, there'll definitely be one model suits you more than the others. Get that in your bag, hit better drives, start enjoying your golf more. Hopefully, depending where you are in the world, you're actually getting to play golf now. But if you are after a new driver, get fitted, find what's best, and then stick with it. And that's how you're going to drive the ball better. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like it and share it. Comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you enjoyed today's video and you don't currently subscribe to my channel, please consider clicking the button below. Remember to ring the notification bell, then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.